take my face off and then mute myself. So,
Yes,
hi,
Dr.
Don.
Kama.
Looks like we've got people joining us, so we'll give it a few moments for everybody to go ahead and log in.
We have most of the headquarters people for FL-1.
Wonderful.
Everybody but one, but I'm sure we can handle that. Hello, Mike.
Mike, we can't hear you.
Well, he doesn't show a microphone connected.
Sorry,
There you go.
there I go. Okay.
Yep.
As I was going to say, hopefully at some point we can all meet in person and then go out for a beverage afterwards.
Let's do that.
Maybe when we have the review meeting in December.
We can definitely mark our calendars for that.
Please do that.
Thanks, Takaki. Thank you, Dr. Koyanagi, for being
Hello.
involved.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, it looks like we have several individuals here. So I am going to kick this off. My name is Anna Podgorny. I am with the NEUP office. And normally Drew Thomas would be facilitating this meeting, but he is on vacation, so I will be moderating this. And so I want to begin by welcoming everyone and thanking you for attending this first ever office hours for the FY 2023 CINR funding opportunity. So the first thing I want to mention is that this meeting is being recorded. So if you do not wish to participate in the recorded version of this, you should drop off the call at this point in time. So I want to begin with a little introduction. And the Office of Nuclear Energy is providing this opportunity called office hours to allow the university community to interact with federal and technical points of contact. And there's three main objectives in doing so. One of those is so that everyone can better understand ongoing programmatic activities. And so the university community can ask and receive clarifications about what fits in within the NE mission and the relevant topic areas, and also to build better communication between the universities and the programs. So to that extent, we ask you to keep those objectives in mind as you are asking questions and commenting. And also, one thing I want to point out that everyone should keep in mind is that this year, the relevancy portion will focus much more heavily on the mission of the Office of Nuclear Energy's mission space and what topics fit within that mission space. So please understand that the work scopes this year are intentionally broad, and they're broad so that they will hopefully allow for a wide variety of topics and ideas that are relevant to NE's mission. So there's going to be much less focus on specific programmatic needs. So please keep that in mind. For the audience, if you have questions or comments, you can navigate to the top of your Teams meeting, and there's the reactions icon up at the top, and you can raise your hand. And raising your hand, I'll call on you to ask a question, and we can just move through the questions as they come in that way. And so I'll begin by asking the program manager for the work scope FL-1, which is Frank Goldner, if he wants to introduce himself, if he wants to share any thoughts that he has, or provide an informal overview of the FL-1 work scope. So Frank, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, I'll pick up on one comment you made about the NE mission. I think our program strongly supports the mission of supporting the existing fleet of reactors. The accident tolerant fuel program, plus the suggested areas we have, the three or four items. You could see all do that. So even though one could say we're not supporting the program areas, I think the program areas are integrated with that any mission. That's the main thing I want to see. Are you going to ask the other members of FL-1 to introduce themselves, or should I?
Frank, if you could, that would be great, since I don't know all of the points of contact that you brought
Okay,
today. That would be great.
I'll mention the point of contact, and if I leave off anybody, please let me know. Okay, so I just noticed Mike Tedoso is here on the suggested area of potential of accident-tolerant fuel to support power upgrades via evaluating the impact of ATF on power upgrade potential in the existing fleet. We also, and I won't use the word doctors, but everybody's a doctor, I guess. Then Nick Wolstenholme is our, by the way, Mike Tedoso is from BNL, Brookhaven National Lab. Nick Wolstenholme is from INL. He is the topic manager for next generation LWR fuels for SMR and advanced reactor applications. How can SMR fuel designs and optimization benefit from ATF programs, current candidates? Then we have from ONL, Dr. Kakashi Toyanagi, and that's development of silicon carbide composites for accident-tolerant fuel. I would just mention Dr. Madeline Feltis is the headquarters person for that specific area. Okay, I'm the headquarters person for the impact of LWR and CRUD, and also for the LWR fuels for SMR and advanced reactor, Nick Wolstenholme. Dan Algama is the headquarters manager for Mike Tedoso's BNL. I didn't mention it from BNL. Mike Tedoso is our headquarters contact, potential of accident-tolerant fuels to support power uprates. I don't know if David Anderson of LANL is on. Are you?
Yes, I'm here, Frank.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So Dr. David Anderson of LANL is our technical point of contact for accident-tolerant fuel impact on LWR coolant CRUD, enabled by things we have in ATF, such as coatings. Can we do better with LWR coolant chemistry? So I'm very pleased to have all these people involved. And for that program, I am the headquarters contact also. So I hope that's enough. If there's anybody I've missed, please. Oh, yes, I forgot to mention the National Technical Director, who really is a key coordinating contact on this, is Dr. Dan Wachs of INL, and he's also on the phone. So I'm very pleased. If I've missed somebody, please tell me. Okay. Thank you, Anna.
All right. Thank you, Frank, and thank you all for being here. So we can begin opening with any questions. So if anyone has a question, please go ahead and raise your hand. And we'll allow for a few minutes to see if any questions are generated. So in the meantime, Frank and all the technical points of contact, if you have any additional information you want to share until we receive a question, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, I do see that we have at least one guest. Anton, do you have any questions that you might like to ask any of us?
Yes, well, thank you very much for hosting this. My background is in modeling, and actually I missed the modeling office hour last week, but I am interested in fuels. So I guess to what extent is there interest in, I guess, how important is the interest in fuel cladding interactions and newer kinds of cladding, for example, the iron, chrome, aluminum, as opposed to the traditional ones, zirconium. and maybe metallic fuels. Are those interesting topics of interest?
Anton, you cover several areas with that question. By the way, I certainly think modeling is very important for all of us. So that almost goes without saying. But perhaps Nick, you're aware of what we're doing in all those areas. Maybe you would be an excellent one to take a crack at this.
I'm not sure if Nick's audio was working properly, but I can give it a shot. And so obviously, we're very interested in the modeling area, as Frank mentioned. Fee crawl is of interest to us, obviously in our ATF program, and I think in the long term, some advanced alloys on the fast reactor side would be interesting as well. However, I think that I believe this particular call is ATF, Frank, or is this all fuels?
Well, we've been told it's very general. Okay. So, it's up to the people who hear the answers to decide if they want to apply under one of those areas. I get the feeling that listening to Dr. Huff and others, they're very interested that we be as broad as we can from the university point of view. So, Anton, I don't know if you're at a university or a lab, but whatever it is, if you know people at universities who have interest in this area, I certainly think it's applicable. But obviously, this is it's supposed to support the program, but we're also interested in making sure that we're responsible to what the universities think they can do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think but your ultimate question, I think, is a fuel clad chemical interaction question. Is that correct? Metallic fuel with advanced claddings for fast reactor type applications. That's if that's what you're talking about, then yeah, that's a critical fuel performance phenomena in metallic fuel that we have a desire to have a better understanding of, a better way to model it. So that would be of interest.
I mean, as I understand it, the fuel itself is still, I guess, poorly understood, right? So for the metallic fuels, so uranium, plutonium, zirconium, to what extent is there interest in addressing the thermodynamics of that from a first principles point of view?
Yeah, I think there's been work and interest in going in that direction. I think historically the metallic fuel is a product that we've been working on for quite a number of years. Most of that work was done in a previous generation where the first principles mod sim wasn't really an emphasis, and most of the fuel design efforts were empirically driven and engineering driven. And so to a certain extent, getting back to backfill that understanding, like we know how the fuel behaves, but the kind of whys and how do we extrapolate from there would be very interesting. So I wouldn't go as far as to say we don't understand it. It's just that I think we don't have a fundamental characterization and descriptive tools that maybe we'd like to have that would help us expand the application of it to new areas. So I think that's that's an important area that we'd like to improve in.
Yeah, I'd like to add to what Dan just said. FL-1, as the title goes, it's accident tolerant fuels, but it does have an area where you can come in with other ideas. It's called others. Okay. One of the subtopics under FL-1 is others, and that's innovation research that would enhance the safety and performance of it says existing LWRs. So again, we do have this area. And by the way, there are other places that you missed modeling and all there. You still go back and look at the rollout, because especially with modeling, my feeling is it applies to almost everything we do in almost all areas. So it's very broad. So I think it could be useful, as Dan said. And we do have the door open for other things than just the straight ATF items.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. So I'm at the University of California, Santa Barbara.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Yes.
Okay, thank you for your question, Anton. And just to let you know, and others know, I have posted in the chat a link to various CINR resources. And in that link, you will also find recordings to the other office hours. So from that link, you will also be able to go back to the modeling and simulation office hours and see the questions that were asked there. And I think there was a question that was a little similar to what you were asking here, also addressed in that topic area too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Um,
Anton.
Yes. Okay, Yi, go ahead, and you've had your hand raised, so go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you. So my name is Yi from Purdue University. I'm working on the hydrogen permeation problem of accident-tolerant nuclear fuel cladding, which is a FICRO cladding. So this objective is not mentioned in the FL-1 areas of interest. So my question is, for this specific topic, do you suggest to submit to -1 or -4, which is the other fuels topics?
At a high level, certainly other is there. But of course, fee crawl is one of the longer term concepts that's important to at least one or more of our vendors. So as to which one, I don't know. Dan, can you give advice on that? I think it could fit into a couple. Next generation fuels is certainly clearly, this could be one of the candidates that would be of interest, because the company that's interested in it is also has some small reactors that it's developing. So, but we're supposed to be very, very general. Okay. But that's the one, I think that's the third. I don't know, Nick, are you on yet, or Dan?
Yeah, I would say, Frank, that I agree. That's a known challenge for fee crawl utilization in an LWR environment. It's something that many have expressed some concern over. So I think it clearly fits in that area. But if you want to broaden the scope and think about its impact on other applications, then it might fit better in the other space. But I think if you're couching your problem in the terms of an ATF technology and application, it fits very cleanly into that call area.
Thank you. And my understanding is that this topic is also fit for the -4 other fields topics.
I would say yes.
Okay.
I would agree.
Thank you.
Thank you, E. If you have any additional questions, you're welcome to follow up with any additionals. Okay, and do we have any other questions?
I don't see people breaking down our doors, but it could be that because we changed the time that we may have, some people may have been confused. But look, 2 questions relevant and interesting. That's good to hear.
Yeah, Frank, and that's a good point. So I'll take a moment to let people know that the other work scopes for topic area 3, the fuels topic area, the office hour session for FL2, FL3, and also, of course, FL4 will be held tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern.
I didn't even know that.
And I believe Julie has posted in our chat that if there are questions that come up after the session has ended, everyone is free to email those questions to neup@inl.gov, and someone from our office will send the questions to the correct technical or federal point of contact, and answers will be returned to you and also posted in the Q&A document that is on the NEUP website, and I provided a link earlier in the chat. So I'll wait for just a couple more minutes and ask for a final call for questions and give a couple more minutes in case some questions develop in that time frame.
Thank you. Julie, while we're on, is there a chance to comment on the process that was involved in setting this up? I think it was difficult in ATF because usually we're used to taking each one of these and having a much more detailed presentation. Is there a process for considering comments on the whole activity with the future in mind?
Sure, absolutely. And if you have some comments, you're welcome to send those to neup@inl.gov, and we'll definitely share those and discuss those and consider those when we conduct another office hour session in the future.
I want to pass it on to the technical points of contact and headquarters points of contact. You have an opportunity to make comments on this. We know what Dr. Huff's goal is, to get better interaction. We also understand we have to be broader, but I think it may have been confusing, the highly condensed version in which we made our original presentations. I was wondering, my personal feeling was that that was too short. Somehow I got instructions only 2 or 3 pages, view graphs and all. I certainly feel that that made it very hard for the ATF area. When I look at the other areas, it might be easier, but we have such diverse potential, like these gentlemen that you have on the phone. If there's an opportunity, even more than just comments, which I certainly can do, but I want to invite the rest of you on the call. If you send in some comments, please copy us, or if you want to copy us first, it's your call. But I obviously appreciate the time you're spending right now when you could be doing your other regular duties. So I apologize for the delay caused, but it's always good. And as Mike said, we really need to meet each other sometime as soon as reasonable.
Anna, this is Madeline. I had a particular question. The question that I had is, in our fuels topics, as Frank mentioned, we have it all under just the one general fuels topic, whereas the NE5 topics were all separated out. And so I wanted to try to convey that if we get very good proposals, we're not limited to having only, let's say, 1 or 2 proposals, that it's not weighted according to the paragraphs. And we'd like folks to really do their best effort and put in for the talks, for the proposals. And also that I would ask the PIs to carefully look at the NEUP and CINR website to see the abstracts of the last couple years worth of research, so that we don't have, substantially repetitive work. Because I know when I was a professor, it takes a lot of time to write a proposal, and if you're not careful, you may not realize that we already have particular research going on. Now, your area that you're proposing out there may be different, and your work scope would be different. So it would be very important to delineate how your new approach can enhance what's going on, because we don't want to have duplicative research. So I would ask folks to check the previous abstracts. Some of the final reports are out there as well. We've been doing accident tolerant fuel and some silicon carbide work for a few years now. So please be careful not to try to do duplicative work.
That's a good. By the way, I noticed that we appear to have two new people, one guest and one title. If you have any questions, one of the new people who joined, please, any question you want in general or to any one of us, please speak up. Or chat up.
If you'd like, just to identify yourselves and let us know what, even if you don't have a question, what area of
And
the
what
F1
university and what
Yeah.
university with? That
Yeah,
would be
we'd like
very
to know.
interesting to us also. Good comment.
Okay. Unless I am mistaken, I believe Anton was the only individual from the university community present. It
Okay.
looks like everyone else is part of the program or part of the NEUP office. So,
Okay.
Anton, I'll give you a final call for any additional questions you might have.
The link you provided is excellent. Thank you.
Oh, good, good.
Yes.
I'm glad you found that helpful.
Yeah. And thank you everyone for your time.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for being here.
Anton, what's your specific area of research that you do at the university?
I develop first principles statistical mechanics models to study thermodynamic and kinetic properties and also more mechanical properties. I've worked on things like zirconium in the past, oxidation.
Thank you.
That's underlying almost everything we're doing except for silicon carbide.
But if you can use your expertise and knowledge of materials to help with that, that would be great. Because the silicon carbide fuel cladding, I should show my face here so you can see my, the cladding is with toes and it's wrapped. And so the mechanical stresses are in various dimensions, and that's been a tricky problem. So, we have some mechanical properties of silicon carbide by itself, but we have chemical vapor deposition and means to take these toes and seal it up so that we have a hermetically sealed cladding, and the stresses and the mechanical problems are very tricky. So we'll let you look at that. That's a direct hint if I ever heard one. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, everyone. I'll thank you all for being here. I think 30 minutes for a single work scope is a great office hour session. I want to thank you all for your time. And if there are no additional questions, we can conclude this office hour session. Frank, did you have anything else? I think you're on mute.
I did that because my phone was ringing. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who was on the call. I'm honored to work with you.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you
So
very
long.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.